Afternoon, gods and goddesses, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. Yesterday was Fuck Around Find Out Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed that lovely episode and discussion that we had today. We would love to continue on with What the Fuck Wednesday today. Thank you for stopping by to the number one podcast for Americanized propaganda through fear and real, fear. I've been smoking already. Real and fearless entertainment.
Fear and realist. We'll go with fear and realist today.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
I'm already having a what the fuck Wednesday, so you know I've been talking. But anyways, we back, guys. Thank you guys for joining us. That's Nova, your lovely fucking host. I'm JMC, your co-host, and feel free to come join us here. If you're in the room live, go ahead and share this baby. If you're not, then if you're playing this back, still share it to your favorite platforms. DJ Crazy Man on the ones and twos. Man, it's good to be back for a What the Fuck Wednesday. I got some numbers ahead if you want me to just dive into that. Or it's the Think Hard crew. Yeah. Yeah. It's the Think Hard crew. What up? Yeah. It's the Think Hard crew, you know. It's the Think Hard crew. What up? It's the Think Hard crew. Yeah. All right.
Yo. I'm just trying to get myself together, man. My bad.
You
I was
good,
out
bro?
in the yard doing that spray shit, and fuck, I was just gonna come right in and jump on the show. I was like, man, I got to get a shower.
I feel you, bro. You don't
I
want that
was
shit all over.
glazed donut out in that bitch, boy.
Well, look, we can start off, and I can give y'all the vibe of the day with the numbers. And we can get this bitch jumping for What the Fuck Wednesday. We back, guys. I thank you for joining us this July the 24th, 2024. If we were to simplify the number associated with the day, we'll be diving into the day of 6. 2 plus 4 is 6. That will be the enealogy or the numerology of the day. 6 is ruled by Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and harmony. Venus influences brings a sense of balance, aesthetics, and deep appreciation for the finer things in life. People influenced by this number are often artistic, compassionate, nurturing, and they have a natural inclination towards creating harmony for their surroundings and relationship. Astrologically, so if we look up to the stars, Venus is governed by the signs of Taurus and Libra. Today, the energies are conductive to activities that involve beauty, art, and relationships. It's a favorable day for social gatherings, romantic endeavors, and any creative pursuits. The influence of Venus also suggests a focus on financial matters, as Venus is associated with wealth and material. For pulling that card, the Lover's card corresponds to the 6, and that card signifies union, harmony, and choices. Often represents a significant relationship or partnership and the decisions that will come with it. God damn, ain't that crazy? The Lovers and also y'all think that's just like just for lovers. Like relationships are more than just lovers. But anyways, the Lover cards emphasizes the importance of aligning one's value and making choices that resonate with one's true self. Metaphysically, the number 6 is associated with the heart chakra, which would, I guess, you say governs the love, compassion, and emotional balance. Today is an excellent day for heart-centered activities such as meditation, acts of kindness, fostering emotional connections, The energy of the heart chakra encourages forgiveness, empathy, and healing of emotional wounds. Historically, today, the 24th, 1969, for example, the Apollo 11 mission successfully returned to Earth.
Interesting.
Yeah, no. So I guess in summary today, Enealogy is 6. It's got the energy of love, harmony, and beauty. It's a day to focus on relationships, creative pursuits, and emotional well-being. The influence of, remember you were saying to me, I just need to just get out of it emotionally when we were talking about
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying, like that I'm just too emotionally tied to this shit because I just need to take my emotions out of it. But anyways, the influence of Venus in the heart chakra encourages us to seek balance and harmony in all aspects of our life. So it's making it an ideal time for nurturing your connections and fostering a sense of unity, which is pretty dope.
Yeah.
And that would be the numbers for today, ladies and gentlemen, guys and goddesses. Thank you. Welcome back to the Think High Crew for another What the Fuck Wednesday. You can obviously jump on www.thinkhighcrew.com if you want some more information on what the fuck we do, because it's a lot of shit. But yeah,
Man, so
all right.
you remember I was telling you that I was watching this thing called Shadowlands on Peacock.
Yeah,
Okay, so when you brought up chakras, um, I already had this on my mind, and when you said that, it just like met right up where I was thinking. So I was just going to tell you about this shit, man. So look, this shit is crazy, bro. So like during COVID,
mm-hmm.
um, there was a bunch of people just selling all kind of fucking remedies. You know what I'm saying, to
Right.
cure COVID, which I don't. It's hard to know how they knew how to cure COVID when we don't even know where that shit came from. But anyway,
Right.
I was watching, and one of the main things was this guy. He was selling this stuff that what the I guess you would call the conspiracy slash. I hate to bridge these two together. That's why I'm saying slash whatever. But like conspiracy theorists or just people that believe that some crazy shit could happen other than what they're being told.
Right.
Um, and some like I guess you would say some entrepreneur type uh like take advantage of the situation type
Yeah.
people that were also associated with the whole Q movement, right?
Right. Right.
So they were selling these different forms of bleach, and it made sense why you remember when you heard Trump in
Right.
2020 or whatever say like, well, I heard there's a solution or something you can just like put in you to clean you out. Okay, so
It's like, yeah,
see,
he was
I
talking about like bleach for your blood. Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, and it was this stuff that I'm talking about. It people called it MMS, and it was like Miracle Mineral Solution or some shit like that.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it was basically like a form of bleach, like not the bleach that you buy at the store to put in your laundry or to clean with, right? But because we all know
Right.
there's different types of everything, but so this is just a form of it, and um, it actually does clean your body out. Um, but it's not something that is really looked at to be a cure of anything. It's more of just like keeping your body, the inside of your body. And then when I say the inside of your body, I mean like just your intestinal tract or whatever, lining of your stomach, etc. Kind of like clean, I guess you would say. Um,
Right.
and so, anyway, long story short, the dude also had these little things he called chips. All right, and it was little, like, bro, this shit is crazy. I don't know. We got to get some, see if it works. But
Uh huh.
so they were like little stickers, and they looked like they had holograms on them, right? And then they
Uh huh.
had like little lines in between or lines in them. So from what the guy said was basically they were carrying negative and positive ions in those
Right.
little chips, which were stickers, and you stuck them on yourself wherever you had pain. And it might take one or it might take 10 of them. And supposedly, with how your electric field is in your body and your
Right.
chakras, this thing was
Mm-hmm.
working with that to alleviate the pain. Now I know that you can wear those
Right.
copper bracelets, and there's other things like this that I'm talking about that is proven.
Right.
And
Right.
so just because the guy is considered a snake oil salesman, and just because he
Right.
doesn't have an FDA approval, doesn't mean the stuff doesn't work. It obviously means that it's
Right.
competition for the pharmaceuticals, just like all pharmaceuticals don't work like they're supposed to either.
Right. Hey, but
But
you know it's funny that you say that though, right? Because if you actually look up why what our clothes used to be made out of compared to what they're made out of now, it's a reason why. Like the linen in all natural cotton or wool, excuse me, linen and all natural wool are better for our body's magnetic field and electromagnetic field.
gotcha.
Just yeah, you know what I mean? Because people don't know that. Like it's something that
Yeah.
like it's how like that polyester and all that shit's made. It suppresses
Hmm.
your fucking your you know what I mean? It fucks you up.
Right.
But
Well,
dudes are getting it now because
I don't know what this would have anything to do with it, but like, say for instance, you buy those little dusters, you know what I'm saying,
yeah, yeah,
and a little cloth or whatever,
yeah, yeah,
and that that motherfucker would just suck the damn dust over there to it.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah,
if you think of like your body, and then you think of wool or linen
yeah.
opposed to
The
some other
static.
thing, like
Yep, yep,
right, the static, all the shit. I was just about to say.
yep.
So I'm sure there's something
Well, yeah,
more
because you were
real
talking
to
about
it
those
than
Snickers, right? And if that's the case, it would. That's why I'm saying like it would make sense that somebody can invent something like that. Like you said, how could it be a snake's oil salesman when we literally could prove that linen and all natural wool is better to wear than anything on the planet? Because
right.
it resonates with our body's quote unquote frequency. So like I don't think that's I don't think you know what I mean? I'm just saying I could see how that type of thing could be
Right. It
possible that you're
doesn't seem
talking
like
about.
it
Right.
doesn't seem like it, like, there's some things where you can just, I don't know, maybe some people can't, but maybe some people are blessed with a gift to see bullshit. But sometimes you can see stuff and you're like, man, what the fuck? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you see these commercials all the time about
Yeah.
this thing or this thing, it takes away pain or whatever it is, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
that shit don't work. But
Right.
when you talk about like your body, just science in general, and how your body
Yeah.
functions and what
Mm-hmm.
things react certain ways to your body, I can see maybe not how the bleach solution um, would help. I don't know. Maybe it does. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I know that there's other things. Like I've went through detox before. My wife's went through a detox, and you had to drink certain things during
Yeah.
certain periods of that detox.
Right.
And I mean, it shit kind of smelled like a goddamn cleaner. It
Right.
came from it came from a chiropractor, which a lot of doctors look at chiropractors as quack jobs. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
matter of
Yeah.
fact, that's what chiropractors used to be labeled as, bro. Like, chiropractors' offices used to be like some underground shit, and you used to find them
Yeah.
bitches in the back of the phone book or like in the paper or something, the newspaper, the
Yeah.
little ads. And doctors always refer to them as quacks. And
Yeah.
as a kid, I didn't know what the fuck. I just thought they were talking about like some crazy shit, right?
Right.
And
Right.
then as I got older, I started realizing that the quack was the chiropractor. And then I started going to a chiropractor, and I saw firsthand, it just made me feel better. And then my wife went to it and did this whole thing, and it was a whole ordeal. But like when she got done, bro, she felt better than she's ever felt. And there was
Right.
no prescribed pill. There was no PhD. I mean, there was no medical doctor involved. It was a chiropractor. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
No, see, I feel you.
so
Like I
basically,
watched this dude who
and
basically said he can hit.
the reason why I brought up chiropractors, because when
Okay.
they
Yeah.
align you, your body is able to flow the
Right.
electrical
Right. I,
uh,
go ahead. I'm
the
sorry.
elect.
Because what I have to say is goes along the lines of that, but it's a little bit different. But it's crazy how it works exactly the same.
Right,
But go
like the
ahead.
electrical current is allowed to flow
Right.
how it's supposed to, and the
Right.
nerves can connect and talk to each other how they're supposed to,
Right.
and then your
Right.
body lets the blood flow, and your body just you got more oxygen and all kind of
Mm-hmm.
shit. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just a thing. So I can't discredit it, but I know the government did for
Right.
real. Like they
Yeah.
was on this dude,
Well,
bro.
there was a dude, right? He grew this plant, right? And I'm gonna tell you, like, I can't remember the name of the plant. I ain't even gonna lie to you. But he's a plant dude. I follow him on all these platforms and shit. But he's like a super plant dude. He knows a lot about like all different kinds of plants. And his nephew,
Oh,
right?
you
So
talking about
his
Lou?
no, not Lou.
That's funny. You talking about people that
I
know
do
about
know, nigga.
plants, and then Lou popped in.
Nah, but no, this dude,
What
listen,
up, Lou?
maybe Lou will know the name of this plant. But the dude took the plant, right, and he had ground up the leaves, and he had his nephew put it on his knee because his nephew tore his like ACL, MCL, whatever the fuck, whatever
Uh
that
huh.
tendon or muscle is in the front part of your knee. He fucked that up real bad, and the doctors was like, "Oh, he'll never be able to play sports like like he used to
About your
again." What
kneecap?
whatever that MCL,
I'm just,
ACL,
nah,
yeah.
it's ACL. Whatever. I'm just
Yeah,
fucking with you.
okay.
Kneecap, bitch.
Hey,
That's what I
that's
know
how
it
I
as.
don't know what the
Knee,
fuck, but
man, that's my kneecap. I don't know my kneecap.
right. He wrapped that shit. He ground up the leaves and took an ace bandage and he wrapped that shit around that dude leg and that dude got better in like 3 weeks, bro. And his muscles completely healed themselves. His tendons completely reconnected themselves. It did it all naturally, and it was crazy because he said dude was trying to explain it. He's like, it's not just the plant. See what the plant. He's like, it's your body. It's your body healing you. But what the plant
The
does is
plant
like
gives
that.
you the environment for the body to heal,
Yeah, well, it
right?
opened up. Yeah, it opened up his like the electromagnetic field. Like it opened up like your chakra point. Like nigga, it did
Just
something
cleared
that,
that bitch so we can
bro. It
operate properly. Probably because it had a
absolutely,
lot of
bro.
inflammation around it or some shit.
Absolute, bro. Damn it.
I'm
And
a
I'm a
genius,
fucking
bro. I'm telling
man.
you,
You
bro.
you just you
I am that
meticulous in this
snake
shit.
oil salesman. I'm the
You
snake
seen
oil
that? You
salesman.
seen what I'm talking about? But you
No, I
see,
ain't
nah,
seen
you ain't
it.
seen it. Damn, but it
Nah.
was pretty cool story. And I was like, damn, because I watch little weird shit like that, little short documentaries and shit. And because I'll be looking into natural healing and shit like that too. But he was like, the dude was just saying like whatever's in the plant, it resonates with our bodies and it resonates to the point where like it basically turns on that supernatural healing gene that the
Mhm.
doctors say that we have, that gene, that youth gene. Like it turns that shit on and reverses damn near. It's almost like it reverses. I can't say that. I guess it does more repairing than anything, but it's almost like it reverses that process. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
Right.
it brings back it just heal.
Some
The boy
kind of sounds
knee was
like
fucked up.
it kind of sounds like castor oil. I
Yeah,
know a
it
lot of
does.
people
I
that
can't
use
remember
castor
the
oil. They'll take
name
like
of
a
that fucking plant, bro. It was a weird name,
bandage or some shit. And
like a wiggy or some shit. It was a weird fucking name. It was just a weird odd plant, and it can grow like off of itself and shit like that. So it's like, but they got control over. I can't. I'm gonna look it up. I'm trying to find it. But the dude, and then he had his nephew there, and they showed the MRI on the dude's leg and everything to prove the before and the after
shit,
results
man.
and everything. And what up, Maven?
Lou sent me some oil that it's like you would use it for a massage, and I'm telling you, bro. Like, look, I can't remember. I think it's like with Bay Tree or some shit, Lou. I
Yeah,
don't
it
know.
was
Maybe you can't hear.
Bay Rum.
Yeah, that's it. But bro, look, if I have a motherfucking knot or some shit like that on my shoulder or neck or back or whatever, or my wife
Mm-hmm.
does, bro, look, all you got to do is take that shit and rub it on there. And I'm telling you, dog, I don't understand this, but it breaks up the
Right.
inflammation, or it either
I
it hits the
think that
nerves a certain way,
It's
yeah.
so
supposed to
it but
relax your
all the
muscles. That
right.
way
So
they
I was
can
just about
fall
to say that
back in
too. It
place.
seems like it feels like the tension just kind of goes away.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then
It's
things
so
can
real that there's a plant for every single problem that you have in life. There's a plant that can heal it. That's so true.
Yeah, I think that one's
That's
like an anti-inflammatory, so it's just lowering the inflammation in that area, and it's good for
right.
right.
muscles.
Yeah, I've used it multiple times, and I mean, and it only takes a little bit, bro. It's not like you got to have like a ton of that shit. Lou sent me a little bottle. You can't even really see the bottle. It's so damn small.
Comfrey. It's a comfrey plant, not CUM, guys. COMFREY. Comfrey plant.
Never heard of that
That's what
before.
it was, bruh. I know. I never
Sound
heard
like
of
a
it either.
kumquat or some shit.
I know it was a comfrey plant that helped heal that boy's. Well, he basically he didn't say that the plant healed him. They was just like the plant gave his body what it needed to heal itself, basically.
Right.
Comfrey.
Right.
So, yep,
Right.
that's the name of the plant. That's
Well,
crazy they
think
call
about
it
it.
that
So,
because
like,
you be
the
uncomfortable with
plant,
a fucking torn ACL. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm just
yeah, a
saying.
little bit. You might have to take some Tylenol or some shit. I don't know.
Right, right.
But so think about it though. Like, so what if I'm just, hypothetical here? What if the plant or whatever's in the plant actually communicates to your body, and it's like, look, quit doing this stupid shit,
Yeah,
and
that's what
just
it
do
is.
this, and
Right.
then you won't have to alert this other part of
And
the
it's
body
targeted.
that there's
It's
some pain here.
targeted because you take the plant and you grind it up, and then you rub the fucking mush that it
Right.
makes, on
Okay,
your
I got one
injured
for you then.
body.
So since we're talking about plants working well with the body, how about this
Right.
though? So, my wife's got all this different skincare, bro. Like they got the shit at the salon, and like there's just a lot going on, man. I ain't gonna lie to you now. But hey, when I get out of the shower, I use the shit.
Right.
It's like 9 steps to it, bro. It's fucking ridiculous. I can't even believe I do this shit. I'll be standing there like, what the fuck am I doing, man? But when you get done, you feel good about yourself. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so look, so she brings this shit home, and it's called snail mucin,
I'm gonna tell
right?
her to take a picture of you
And
lotioning your legs.
I'm like, what the fuck? She's like, yeah, it's snail mucin. I'm like, what the fuck is snail mucin? She's like, blah blah blah.
The
Just
shit that the
use it.
snail leaves behind.
So look, bro, the snail mucin used with beef tallow. Okay, so this is goddamn grease or oil from a motherfucking from beef, bruh. And
Crisco
it's
from
in
Crisco or
and this shit
Union.
is expensive as a motherfucker too. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, goddamn, how about I just cook some fucking burgers tonight and we use that shit? Like,
I'm
you know what I'm saying?
fucking
But obviously, it's a
got you.
special way that they take it out, and there's
Yeah.
other shit in there besides that. But the
Ooh,
point that I'm getting at is like the point getting at is that's a snail. There's also something to where you can have
what the fuck was
different types of animals and or bugs
right?
use the semen from them on your face. Now I don't have them steps yet, but who knows? They might get here.
Yo, you should
But
use coconut oil and tea tree mix on the skin. Just do that one time and see how you feel.
well, I was just about to say that's already in the regiment. This is a 9-step regiment, bro. I'm talking about a 9-step. I get out the shower, and the first thing I do is use that beauty water, that 5.0 or 6.0, whatever it is, from my Kangen water machine. You spray that on your face. I'm going to give y'all the game right now, okay? Look, you spray that on your face, and that's like the toner, or that is the toner. You don't have to use a toner. That is your natural toner because that's the pH of your body. You spray that on your face, and then you start applying these different $200, $300 goddamn little bottles of shit, right? But the coconut oil is obviously in there, not with tea tree oil, just because I don't know, maybe it don't react good with some of this other shit or whatever. But after each thing that you put on your face, you got to tone it again or spray your face. And when you're done, bro, first of all, if it's hot outside, it's over with for you because that shit makes you so fucking hot for the first 30 minutes. I don't know, your pores can't breathe or whatever it is. But there's plenty of plants or things that we get from plants, and there's plenty of animals and or things we get from animals that do like magic for our body.
Yeah.
And so, like, think about it. When we buy stuff from places, 9 times out of 10, they've had to test that shit on animals, people, whatever. And how many of those things don't ever make it through the or don't make the cut? But that
Right.
don't mean that it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just like not going to be as profitable for the company or
Yeah.
whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So to go with what you were saying about the fucking shit healing a knee or whatever, I've
Yeah.
just seen firsthand, bro, that fucking snail mucin and coconut that comes from a tree and fucking beef grease or
I was trying
oil,
to put
I guess
this.
you say,
I was trying to put this book in. I got two
makes you
pictures of the
look
book that we
younger.
have.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a there's this book called the Heinermans, Heinerman apostrophe S, Heinerman's Encyclopedia of Fruits, Vegetables, and Herbs by John Heinerman. It's supposed to be it's from a medical anthropologist files,
Hmm.
remarkable health promoting use for hundreds of common fruits, vegetables, and herbs. I recommend that. Just to show y'all that we ain't
Well,
no when we talking about this shit, we live it. You know what I
right.
mean? We
Well,
be trying to
like
figure, yeah.
I got a question for Lou. I don't know. You able to talk, Lou?
Yeah.
Okay. So what? All right. So I know tea tree oil is used for a lot of different things, but so what's the main reason you would put that on your face, though?
Well, that's just like to clean. It's like an antiviral and bacterial. So that's
Okay.
more to clean. And then the coconut oil, that'll just help your body like accept it. Like some oils, they'll burn on certain parts of your skin. But if
Right.
you
Well,
Yeah.
feel if you ever get burned or you feel hot from an oil, just put coconut oil on top of it, and it'll
bro,
just cool
look,
it off.
I took some tea tree oil and put that shit up under my arms, like to use for deodorant. Oh man, I was on fire, boy.
Yeah. So
And
if
my
that would
wife,
happen, if you did that again, put coconut oil and it'll just neutralize that fire immediately.
bro, my wife was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Ah, dang, well, fuck," you know what I mean? She
But
was
let
like,
me
"Did you
let
put that on?" She was like, "You just put that on by itself?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Oh my god." She was like, "You're fucked up now." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And bro, that shit just kept getting hotter and hotter, and it was
Yeah.
under my arms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whew.
Well,
But
that's
yeah,
like there's a lot of buildup in that area. You know what I mean?
yeah.
yeah.
I don't use any antiperspirant. I haven't used antiperspirant in probably 10 years, man. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's burning, that means it's working.
right, right,
Yeah.
right. Um,
But bro,
Just
I,
like
I
if
use
listen, check it. Check it. So here you go. If you got alcoholism or drug addiction, like I could send you there's a clove and an eggplant and a macadamia type thing, I guess for that. Like nigga, they have cleansing your lung, irritations and smoking. Like the dude, there's plants and herbs and fruits and vegetables for that. Baldness, birth control, bladder inflammation, blackheads, bleeding, blood clots, blood thinners, bloody stool. Like this is the help. Like because this is the table of symptoms contents in this book.
right.
Like bro, like there's a plant and a vegetable or a fruit for any fucking thing. Chapped lips, chemical poisoning, childhood diseases,
Well, that's the
spirit,
thing, bro. Look, the most of the time,
cholesterol.
all of the stuff that you buy out of a store, they've taken that and they
Mm-hmm.
created a chemical to emulate the real. That way, they can
Mm-hmm.
produce it for cheaper. But
Absolutely.
they, like we always say, there's nothing new under the sun, right? Like all
Mm-hmm.
of this shit that we have that makes us feel good, bad, better, worse, all that stuff, I think it's all natural.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just manipulated so it can be reproduced
Yeah, and
and
it's
packaged
sometimes
up for cheaper.
a lot of it, right? A lot of it be like the fact that we got a lot of parasites and shit in us too. And it's not to even there's good ones and bad ones, obviously, but you know what I mean. We got that a lot of shit, comes from shit that's not even a part of us. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Right.
not even supposed to be there. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
and it's just wild, like that. But there's actually real live vegetables, fruits, and everything that can help you, uh, like
Well,
live
I got a
longer without.
tree. I got a tree. It's called a miracle fruit tree. I think I
Uh
told
huh.
Nova about this. You eat that fruit, and everything is sweet for like a good half hour. Like I'm talking about, you could eat a lemon, and it'll be sweet. You'll eat it like an apple.
That's
Look,
crazy. Yeah, I
look,
remember you telling me about that.
And it's like the
look.
sugar companies trying to get rid of that tree. Like in certain parts of the world, it's actually illegal. And I got a little tree producing fruit. I had like a good 10 seeds of it. I'm trying to.
This shit
Man.
is crazy. They tell
But
you
there's
here,
all types
here's
of
an
stuff like.
anti-cancer
So
salad.
basically
Get the fuck
so
out
what
of
that
here.
tree does, the fruit from it, it just like activates that part in your brain that
I don't
makes you
know. It
think
does something
that
to your
you're
taste buds.
tasting sweet.
Yeah,
That's
like
crazy,
your
bro.
taste buds. It turns into sugar, I guess.
That's like some Viagra or some shit for your taste
Right.
buds.
Right, right,
That's
These
exactly.
cats
crazy,
got an
bro.
anti-cancer salad in here. It's got like banana, beans,
Yeah,
beets.
everything is just plant synthesized, but then they
Yeah.
make it a certain way. Like for instance, toothpaste. Most people they associate that chemical burn from all the bullshit in there as being clean. So you give them some natural toothpaste, and they're like, I don't know, it doesn't feel clean.
Right,
And it's
right.
that chemical burn that they
Yeah, my
think.
shit don't. Yeah, I use these cats called Smile. They're pretty cool, but they're supposed to be all natural. They use like tea tree oil and a couple other different oils in their shit instead of, and they use natural mint and shit like that. It doesn't burn. People don't. You're right. People don't understand why that shit don't burn their mouth.
Bro, I got a fucking thing of powder, and all you do is take the toothbrush and dip it in there, and it's like charcoal with some other shit, and it's like powder. You get the toothbrush wet, dip it in there, and then shoot, 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 shoot.
I'm gonna try to
I haven't used
listen.
like a normal toothpaste in a long time either.
This
Not,
book gotta be illegal, my nigga.
oh,
I'm
I'm
sorry to
sure it
interrupt
is.
you. The remedy for sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia is a disease occurring most frequently among blacks throughout the world. Symptoms include those of anemia, leg ulcers, arthritis manifestations, and acute attacks of pain. In the specific reference of work, mechanical plants from traditional medicine in Africa, and Boya Safwara, who is a professor of the pharmacy of the University of something in Nigeria, indicates that water extract of the active principle from the powdered root of prickly ash will revert sickle cell anemia. Study shows that the extract of the root is not toxic orally, he adds. It has reduced significantly the painful risk crisis of sickle cell patients in a clinical trial carried out in Ibadan. Besides the root, however, the young leaves of the prickly ash also are a very rich source of anti-sickling acid, which stop the process of this terrible disease. Nigerian folk herbalists have consequently used strong tea extracts made of these young leaves of an African species of prickly ash for curing their patients who've been afflicted with sickle cell anemia. Usually, usually, see, look, now they're gonna really take our shit down. They're gonna be like medical misinformation.
Oh
Medical
yeah,
mis. I'm
for sure.
quoting Doctor. I'm quoting Heinemann's Encyclopedia of Fruits, Vegetables, and Herbs, um, from an MD named Lyndon H. Smith. I'm not making this shit up. But it says usually a generous handful of leaves added to a quart of boiling water, steep in the heat, covered for an hour and a half. The doses generally administered to those in their care is approximately 3 cups daily in between meals as a rule. If you have sickle cell anemia, try to find prickly ash, specifically in Africa or Nigerian. Prickly ash is the name of the plant. So you know what? We're gonna start doing this daily. I'm gonna go in here and give niggas the answers.
Well, hey, so I want to ask this. And
Yeah,
we might not know. We might have to fucking really dig. But so, where was the first case of sickle cell anemia
that's a good
recorded
question.
at?
Let's ask the internet real quick.
I've never heard of any, and I could be just sounding like a complete idiot right now, but I've never heard of anybody with sickle cell anemia that didn't live in the United States. And when you were just reading that stuff about Africa, I'm like, so am I just fucking dumb? Is sickle cell anemia a worldwide thing? And why
Yeah,
did I think it was
it's
only a United States of America thing? That's fucking weird,
yeah.
right?
1910 by Chicago physician James Herrick. Herrick patients was Walter Cement Noel, a 20-year-old college student from Grandia in the Caribbean who was severely anemic and experiencing pain episodes. So I guess the first documented case of sickle cell anemia was published in 1910, it says. But
In the
according to
United
that,
States.
yeah, in the United States.
It's interesting.
Yeah, very much so because the
So I
more I
wonder,
look in
was
this
that
fucking book,
person was that person a native to the United States of Americas, right? Or were they brought
well,
over from Africa? Because there's two different,
nah, that was
you know what I'm
just
saying?
that. Yeah, a lot of people not see. A lot of people are not gonna. All right, so most people when they're looking for medical studies, right? They're not gonna go to Nigeria. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Or that's in their shit. You know what I mean? Like those are doctors and that's what's so crazy about it. Like so, this dude, he took, you know,
I'm just saying,
immigrants
I'm
from
just
all
wondering
over
what
the
his
world,
DNA
right?
was. If his DNA was like, if he was like one of the
African.
black folks that was already
They were
here, goddamn it, or did he
Nah, they
get
were
brought
they were
over?
African. Nah. That specific doctor where the this information come from, he was African,
No, I'm
Nigerian
talking
dude.
about the guy that got diagnosed with sickle cell
Yeah,
in 1910.
Nigerian dude.
Oh, he was
Him.
Nigerian.
Oh, okay. No, I don't know what that guy was. Matter of fact, okay,
The
I'm sorry.
dude
In
in the
America,
Windy City,
yeah. He
Chicago.
was Caribbean.
Okay.
He was Caribbean. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't know what you were
So
asking.
he
My
was
bad.
he was probably brought from Africa by the British then.
He could have been. He could have been possibly brought from Africa by the British because most of the slaves went to England and the Caribbeans more
Hmm.
so than the United States. More went to South Africa, Caribbeans, and Europe was around the same amount, and then like only like 400,000 supposedly came to the United States. But yes, absolutely, bro. Like that, it's just wild that like I don't know if this book is fucking, you know what I mean, but they have clinical studies on this, and that's what sucks is that they don't tell people this. If you went to a doctor, he's not taught that prickly ash has a
Right.
component that can fucking help heal sickle cell, bro.
Right.
He's not taught this shit, guys. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's why our shit's all fucked up with it. You know what I mean? But like they got everything in this book, and maybe every day we'll just reveal something.
Hmm.
Reveal something to the people. So we should put on here the sickle cell anemia cure
Right.
live. I gave you the recipe. Make some
Yep.
tea and take 3 cups
What
a day with some prickly
and
ash, y'all.
you know what, man? Like I know like the Western medicine gets a lot of grief and it gets a lot of praise too. But think about it.
Yeah,
So like you as a human being responsible for your own self, you have a part to play in your health.
right,
Now, you might not be able to stop from getting sickle cell anemia, or you might not be able to stop from some hereditary shit, right? But like,
right.
even if you even if you're diagnosed with something at a doctor and the doctor says, okay, now this is what I'm going to prescribe you, but these are other things that you can do.
Right,
I would
right.
say 70% of the time, the person just takes the pill and don't do the other things that they're supposed to do, like
Yeah,
diet, exercise,
yeah,
not being stressed out, fucking whatever in the fuck else. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
like also you know how it's a big money grab because here in this book I can show you how to get rid of plaque build up. I can and help cleaning your teeth. Then what's the use of a dentist? You know what I'm saying?
right.
If you know what I mean, like we can cure polio infection with plants. Like get out of here. Like they have what page is this? I'm gonna look this shit up too. See infection, muscular disorders,
And
and
I mean,
nourishment and paralysis. So I'm gonna look this shit up,
I
bro. Like
think a
these
lot
niggas is
of
curing everything. Like I mean, well, I guess
I
you could
think a
say,
lot of stuff actually derives from that, and then they get in
yeah,
there and they create a molecule from
yeah,
chemicals that they can easily reproduce. Because remember, we had dude on here and we were talking about the Safe Banking Act and all the marijuana shit. And remember, he was like,
yeah,
the government is waiting on an actual formula for CBD or for THC that they
yeah,
can
yeah,
reproduce
yeah.
and they know what it's going to
Mass
be every
reproduction.
time.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mass production type shit.
Because he was
Absolutely.
like, that's what the FDA and the CDC and all that shit they look for
Yeah.
is something that when they do their science tests and they're like, look, present us with your trials, they need to see that same shit happen over and over and over a
Right.
lot of times. That way they're like, okay, we'll put a stamp on it. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's
Yeah. You're right.
approved.
Yeah.
So
It,
also, can I, good morning, good
yeah.
afternoon,
What
wherever
up?
you
What's
are.
up?
Hey, I just wanted to add, because this is a really great discussion. I just wanted to add a little nugget of
Hey, we're the Think
information.
High crew. Obviously, this is a great discussion.
Yeah, that's obvious. Obviously, I don't mean, y'all, I'll warn you right now. I am prone to stating the obvious. That is that is my life. So there's something to know about me. But the other thing about, they're trying to synthesize these natural compounds. The reason they're trying to do that is it's illegal to patent a natural thing. So
Right.
they're trying to make a fake thing, like they're trying to make fake THC so they can
Yeah.
patent it and own it
Yeah.
and sell it to you instead of
Right.
you
Absolutely.
growing it yourself
And
because
they're
it's
and they
some kind of magical, extra
And,
pure thing.
and Maven, also
they want to control the seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
psilocybin from
Yep.
Mushrooms.
And
mushrooms.
they're having a hard
They've had
time.
they're selling doses of psilocybin in gas stations now.
Well, I'll tell you
No.
why they're having a
Where
hard
you live
time,
at?
Maven.
I
Th-
live in
no,
the
they
United
are.
States.
It's not real.
Um,
It's not real
I live off the
psilocybin, though,
coast of
Maven.
Georgia, and there's
Wow.
gas stations
Yeah.
I was in there not too long ago, and the girl was like, "You want to try some psilocybin?" I looked at her like, "What the fuck?" And
Synthesized
she
psilocybin.
had a plastic bucket full of it, and look, little pieces of gum looking in wrappers.
Wow.
Hmm.
And I was like, "Nah, I'm good on the government psilocybin right now."
Right.
But
Yeah.
If it's like government cheese, you probably want to stay away.
Yeah,
right,
I definitely want to stay away from that. And you know what? You know what they're having a hard time with though is because the problem is this: we have an endocannabinoid system, and the problem with our endocannabinoid system, it recognizes what is
hold up. So
the whole point of
you're
the
about to
endocannabinoid
say
system is a regulatory system of all the other systems. It I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no? I think the internet's kind of screwed up. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I
Oh
was just
yeah,
going to
yeah. No,
say
you're
that
good.
exactly what you're about to say is the way that a vaccine works, not the new mRNA technology,
Right.
but a vaccine. They got to have some human something in there to trick the
Right.
body for the
To trick
poison
the
to get
body,
into to
but
kill it. So the
but
same
the
way you're talking about
endocannabinoid
right
system
now, the endocannabinoid system is looking
isn't
for the
stupid. You know what I mean? It's
real,
the system that, yeah,
right.
exactly,
So I can see
exactly.
why it's
You
hard
can't
for
you
him. And then
can't
Maven
fucking
just said that you can't, it's illegal to own a plant that grows out the ground.
I know, God
absolutely.
forbid.
Right.
No, no pun
You know,
intended.
all the pun intended, because the Indians got tricked too. They said, "Oh, you want to buy the land? Sure. When we throw in this cloud too for an extra $5, you mean they thought that shit was hilarious? You know what I mean? Because the concept of owning the land is retarded as hell. Because we're on, like Nova says, we're on a floating rock in space supposedly. Who do we owe anybody to just be here? You know what I mean? And exist. Like
Yeah.
we shouldn't owe. You know what I mean? So it's just weird that people be like, "Yeah, own this, I own this." Like, actually, you could just, I guess you could say this is your domicile area. This is where you'll be living for
And you know what else is just
forever.
like kind of dumbly ironic is that there was a show called the Beverly Hillbillies,
Yeah,
and
that's a
in the
good
show he's hunting and he shoots at something and the bullet goes through the ground and black oil or gold, whatever you want to call it, black gold or oil comes out of the ground, raw crude oil. And
one.
so we know that if that happens, you get your land taken from you, or they're fixing to come
Absolutely.
and drill on your shit. Because when you buy land, you don't buy that; you just buy what you're walking on and
Hmm.
whatever you're
Or
building on.
they fixing to give you a bunch of money and say, "Get the fuck out of here." You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
So it's
Like,
like when you watch like old shows like that, it's like, damn, bro, like motherfuckers was really finding oil on the land that they bought, and the government was coming in, or Rockefeller, which had
yeah,
the oil company, Standard Oil, they were coming in, and they were just being like, "Look, man, we'll give you $1 million for this shitty ass land,
But
and we'll buy your house from you.
you know how many people fucking probably got who probably was like, I don't give a fuck. This land been in my family for generations, and then next thing you know, they
Exactly.
end up missing or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there's no way that these the only families that's been able to get access to all of the fucking oil. Like that shit never made no sense to me either, bro. I feel you. They've had a monopoly on anything that's of any value on the land. Like even though like gold is just a rock and silver is just this, but they're minerals of the earth. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not
Hmm.
necessarily valuable. We give them value. I mean, they're really priceless if you want to be, honest about it. There's nothing you can do to kind
Nothing
of
should
really
have a
replicate that
price.
kind
God
of
damn
thing.
it! Nothing should
Right,
have a price.
exactly. Nothing should
Right.
have a price. You know what I mean? You can't.
Yeah.
And I was talking to somebody about that before, man. And that's why I was like, really? I was like, bro, you think fossil fuels actually come from fossil? I'm like, if people was finding oil, you don't know how often that shit was happening. That shit is such a fucking smudged out part of our history to try to understand how did these group of people get control of all the world's oil. You know what I mean? Like that's a whole nother, you know
Because
what I
they
mean,
use
thing.
the government's power to of force. You know.
But I don't think
Yeah.
oil is
And
as
also,
rare
bro,
as they
think
say
about
it is.
this,
I don't think it is what they say it is. I don't think it's as rare as they say it is. I think that oil really is something that the world will never run out of. It's kind of I think is a natural process that happens in under the ground type shit.
bro. Look,
This is my fucking
if oil was that scarce, would everything that we have be made of it somehow, some way?
I know, right? And you think about it, no, right?
Like that's why your
Since the
tires are
'90s,
so
bro.
flammable. Tires are so
Yeah,
flammable because they're basically 40% fucking crude oil,
yeah,
or whatever you want to call it. Everything, bro. Anything plastic, anything. Period.
yeah.
Even fucking like things that you
Bro, but
wear.
do you remember though? Let's go back to when we were children, right? In the news stations that we was hearing, and then gas prices went up by this much because there's an oil shortage, right? And I used to think like an oil shortage. It's been an oil shortage since I was fucking 10 years old, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Right.
don't
And you know
fucking
what?
that shit
And
don't make no
and
sense.
and if you think about like in the past, like what, 20 years or some shit, I don't think there's been an oil shortage.
No, bro, but
Has there?
no, I don't think so. But
It
like
just stopped with the oil shortages?
I don't know. Yeah, it just stopped. It just was like it used to be. Oh, we're having oil shortages now. We don't. Like I don't know.
Or
Like
did
you know what I mean? But
technology get better so that they could
Yeah.
drill in the ocean and stuff
Yep.
too? I don't know.
That's right. No, that's right. The technology got better over
it
time.
has to. It
Yeah.
has to
And
be.
so, and it
But
takes more energy. It's crazy. Some oil to take it out of the ground and put it so that you can put it in your gas tank. It
yeah.
costs them more than the amount of energy that you actually get out of it.
Right.
And what's wild about the electric shit is that it takes even more oil to get the machines that help do to help make the electric shit to do the electric cars.
Totally.
What up, Mister Be Great?
Totally.
Ain't that crazy? So it's like even if we were
Yeah.
to go electric,
So
it would
you're in
take
a
more
negative
oil.
balance. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, bro. When I've watched these motherfuckers conduct experiments by pulling electricity out of the fucking air, did you know that motherfuckers was doing that? Like that kite experiment with fucking that shit was like a real thing. Like people were fucking putting kites in the air and then grounding wires and then having free
Right.
electricity in their fucking homes.
Right.
Like what? Like people were really doing that. Like that's how motherfuckers
Hmm.
got free electricity. And then somebody was like, let's just put them in some wires and then we'll fucking goddamn sell it to people. Like I don't know who that fucking bright idea dude was, but he
And
need to
then
be
we'll and
shot.
then we'll
Like
tell everybody else that it's extremely dangerous and
right,
you shouldn't
exactly,
do that and you should
man.
just
But we
trust us.
we see
Hey,
here right now though that there's a big book
speaking
of
of
encyclopedia of fucking vegetables and herbs that can heal shit. These niggas is lying about this shit. What was you gonna say? Sorry,
yeah,
bro. Didn't mean to
I
interrupt
was
you.
going to say, speaking of oil and drilling, did everybody know that the United States actually taught Russia how to drill for oil?
Nah, I didn't know.
I know that because I know a guy that was like into oil, and he was older. He's dead now, but he was like he was big into that shit, like huge, huge. And he
Right,
told me, he said Russia didn't even know how to drill for oil, nor did they know how to create the bits that were needed to
right.
get through,
Diamond
whatever. And he said,
plated
so the
bits.
United States went over there and taught Russia how to drill oil. And, it just makes you really think like, is there really I mean, is it like wars going on, but then there's like business still going on with them same countries?
Right.
Like
Totally.
shit just doesn't even make sense
I think it's
sometimes. You know what I mean?
Orwellian, bro. You know
You're
what?
paying too close attention to too many stories. I mean, really. They
Nah.
should
Right?
be allowed to conflict.
Right?
Right.
What the
Right.
hell?
Right. That's
And it's
but
like,
I
dang, it's
think it's
like,
all. I think it's a charade sometimes. Most of the like. That's why I was like it's Orwellian. It's more like
well, ask
they tell us.
like, let's just have a common sense question right now.
Right.
Why, if China is such a threat to the United
Right.
States,
Okay.
why do we do business with them?
Oh, great question.
Why do
I
we
got
get
more.
all of our shit from them when they're supposedly wanting to take us out? Like,
If
so what
Russia
does that even make
really
sense?
has
Then
nuclear,
that means China goes bankrupt if they
right,
fuck up the United States.
right. On
It
top
just
of that,
doesn't make any sense. It
if
just
Russia has nuclear weapons placed on Cuba, what the fuck is the big deal if we've had nuclear weapons placed all around them for
and then
ever?
why do we have Guantanamo Bay on the other side of Cuba?
Right.
Ah,
Wait, I thought that was what the Bay of Pigs was about. That Russia didn't end up
I
putting
know, right?
nuclear
But
weapons there.
according to motherfucking reports through Twitter and what these politicians and shit
but the
been trying to
CIA
tell
got
us.
their ass kicked in the Bay of Pigs.
Right, I know. That's what
Right.
I'm saying. Like
Mhm.
I don't know.
But they don't tell us that. Every war that they tell us about, if you are an American and live in America, every war that they tell us about, we won. Or they just don't say anything
Or
about
they
who the
just
winner
don't.
was.
Right.
Yeah, they don't tell
Hmm.
you who the winner is. They just let you guess and think about who the winner was. It was like it was an awful thing and this happened and we went in and stopped it. But they don't say who won the war. They don't
So
say,
I
oh
want
well
to go
we
Right.
back to that question about China. If they're our big
yeah.
enemy, why do we fuck with them anyway? Excuse me. I don't know. Can I swear on this
Yeah,
show?
you can
Okay.
swear.
Yeah.
You can speak
We'll
on
Sorry,
it.
we'll let you
I'm
go
halfway
ahead.
through my bowl right now, so
You're good. I'm halfway through my joint too. Let's get it, Maven.
so one of the things that I noticed, because people say that about, like, we have trade with all of these countries, and
Right.
when the narrative really starts to break down, if you start to ask people questions they can't answer, things like, well, so let's see, we've got an American company who can do business with whoever they want because that's the way this country works.
Right.
So I'm going to go make relations with a company in China. Now that Chinese company is not publicly owned; it's owned by a private whatever,
Right.
right?
Uh-huh.
So I can do business with them, but then they talk about China and the U.S., being in tension.
Right.
Well, that private business owner in America and the private business owner in China is like, well, that's our government. That's not us.
Yeah. True.
So, like, you start asking questions like, well, what does that mean if I say, if I'm like, let's use an example that I happen to know they probably get almost everything from China, which is like
Right. Right.
Dollar Tree. So if I'm Dollar Tree, and I know that we're not supposed to be doing business with China, but that's where I can get the
Right.
cheapest materials, I'm going to find a way to get that stuff here.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Why can't I? Well, I don't either have the resources, or there's some government that has some
There's
force
loopholes. What it
behind
is.
it. Right. There's some government that has force behind it that says, if you do that, you're in big trouble and this is what's going
Right.
to happen to you. Right.
Yeah.
Well, but we have an embargo. There's like an embargo against Russia, right? We're
Right.
Right.
supposed to not be doing business with Russia.
Right.
I guarantee you right now there's some people in the United States who are still doing
Oh,
business with
okay. So
Russia.
I got a perfect example of that. So
Okay.
I know a guy. I can say his first name. His first name is Maynard. I know a guy named Maynard. He's like almost as high up as you can get at Coca Cola. All right, like all the way up
Big
there.
boy. Got it.
This dude flies all over the world and heads up the installation of new Coca Cola plants or anything going on with it. He's the one that says yes or no, blah, blah, blah. When he gets to these places, he gets off the plane and there's fucking bodyguards there, right? And they guard him in these fucking bomb-proof vehicles, take him to his hotel rooms, and are specific with him. And they say, don't open the door for anybody. Don't order room service. This is what you can choose to eat. We'll bring it to you. And it's like that in all these places. All right. So I started asking him, I was like, hey, let me ask you a question, man. I said, so what's up with the United States and Russia and Coca-Cola? He goes, okay, well, I'll tell you. He goes, when it all went down, everything of Coca-Cola was pulled out of there. He said, we left hundreds of millions of dollars of product, billions of dollars worth of, stuff.
Bottling facilities and stuff like that.
Yeah, all of it. Just all the stuff that you could think of to create Coke.
Right.
And he was like, and this is what, and he goes, so nobody knows this kind of stuff. He said, but we pulled everybody out of there, all the humans, everything, right? The people that were heading up the operation, everything. He said, but what Russia did, and this is also what China does in other places, like, Russia and China are probably the most popular for it. They took all of the fucking Coke stuff and just literally reused it, called it a different name.
For sure.
And they're continuing to produce. Now, they don't own and they don't know the recipe,
Right.
but they got real fucking close to it to where Russians are okay with drinking Coke that's named something else and that tastes just a little bit different.
Right.
And he's like, now Coca-Cola in the United States is fucked because we'll never be able to move back into Russia again.
Right.
And if you think about that,
wow.
if you think about that, like huge corporations, when they pull out, it's actually bad for America because they'll never be able to go back.
Right.
Right. Well, this is the thing. Like
unless there's a deal or some shit, you know what I mean? But
well, and so it's really the federal government is fucking with corporations' ability to
100%.
make money.
See,
In
but
the
thing about
places
that,
where
though,
those things happen, it's not about the money that comes to the corporation because they're a
Right.
U.S. corporation.
Right,
It's about the
right.
money they're able to make off of other citizens.
Oh yeah. See, but the thing is, like when you were talking
That's a
about
new
that,
way
man,
of me thinking about it. Sorry,
oh
I
yeah,
told you
no,
at the beginning. I state the obvious. It's a bad habit I
no, no,
have.
no, it's
no,
not a
it's a
bad
good
habit.
habit.
So, but look though, Chet, I like that because what I was going to piggyback off of and say is that it makes sense then why, because you were saying like there's normally we do have laws in place that's like, all right, we have laws and sanctions and shit in place that you're not supposed to do a certain type of business with a certain country. But the thing about it is that we have all these other private holding companies in this company and this. So for example, Nike in Britain, they they don't make any money because all of the money that the Nike or all of the money that the Nike in Britain makes, it goes to 100% of it goes to the Nike in like Sudan or some shit somewhere in Africa where the taxes are only like 1%. You
Oh
see what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. This is the
So
tax avoidance shit.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so what it is that they're like Nike is American company, right? It shouldn't be allowed to do certain things with certain countries, right? Because there's sanctions on these countries that we fucking have. There's just rules. But if Nike goes through so and so or so and so or so and so, you know what I mean? Which
Right.
is a
They
private
just
entity of so and
it's
so,
just
all these other
because
loopholes.
they're so
Right.
big they can be in any country they want.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it doesn't matter what the government says because they'll just like, oh well, Nike is in Russia, but how is Nike in Russia? Well, because Nike made a deal with this person and
With
this
these two
person.
oligarchs, and
Yeah,
they
Right,
got
right,
enough
right.
money
right,
And
to
these
right.
to
people
set it
have
all
the
up.
fuck right. You know what I mean? So it's like, so if Nike is not involved indirectly, then Nike doesn't get sanctioned because now
Right.
because
Mm-hmm.
that money that Nike is making in Russia isn't going back to the United States. It's going to South Sudan or it's going to a
Right.
country that has
Right.
an
Some
extremely low.
country that right.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just so like they talk
Just as
about
Yeah, I
long
being
as you
mean,
beef with
don't put
them.
the money in the Russian banks because apparently the US seized all of their money. I mean, some of these schemes
Yeah,
are in
yeah.
you know what? Let me just say this.
It's
I'm so
financial
glad to be
warfare.
having this conversation with people I don't have to explain stuff from the beginning of.
oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know
Baby.
what I'm saying?
Well, hey,
Yes.
so think about this. So the
Mhm.
same guy that was talking about the Coca-Cola stuff in Russia, so he goes to China all the time too. And
Right.
so just to let everybody know. I mean, I talked about it on here before, but like me and Jason had a big discussion about it. But just to let everybody know, like that social credit score shit, that's
That's
real.
some real
See,
shit.
That's
that's
Yeah,
not
some
just
in
real
like
China.
shit here though too.
that's not just
That's
like some
real.
stuff on the
That's some
internet,
real fucked up shit here
and
too
it's
with
not.
your credit score.
Yeah, and
We
it's
have
not
that
like
here too.
it's where you at.
I'm in California.
Oh, okay.
You have a social
So
credit
yeah, so
score?
you kind of you're gonna start feeling it even quicker than a lot of people will in the United States because that's just how it's
That's
gonna
crazy.
go.
Yeah.
So like over in China, man, it's not. This is not a fairy tale. Like, so
No.
you have to opt at this point. Like what he told me, and I trust dude because he's what I'm
Totally,
saying, no
totally.
reason to lie.
Right.
He's like, you don't. Everybody's not involved. He says some people
Right.
can't even get involved yet. He said you have to
Right.
opt in. So he said, but for an example, he said the guy, my liaison over in Shanghai, he's like basically his number one bodyguard over in China, but he also works for Coca-Cola and he's like part of the Communist Party too, right? So he
Mm-hmm.
works for the government. He's a fucking bodyguard and he like heads up Coca-Cola over there. Or not heads up, but like handles all the people coming from the United States or whatever. So anyway,
Security.
they're
Yeah.
walking down the street and they come up to a red light and there's no cars coming. And so the guy from the United States, the guy Maynard, he's like, starts to walk across the street. And the dude's like, oh, no, 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 you can't walk yet. You can't walk yet. And he's like, why not? He's like, well, I mean, you can. He's like, but I can't. He said, no matter of fact, I can't even be seen with you walking yet. And Maynard's like, what are you talking about? And he goes, well, we have a score over here that if we do things
Yeah.
the wrong way or how it's not quote unquote supposed to be done, then we get points taken off.
No,
And
they'll
he
fine
goes,
you. They'll
points
take the
taken
money
off
out
of
of your bank
what?
account. Your
And he's like,
social
points taken
credit
off of
score.
what? And he's like, well, uh, it's a new program. And this is a couple years ago. So it's probably way elevated now. But he's like,
Right.
we have a new program. And basically it lets you skip the line at a restaurant or like
Right.
get like your train free to ride on, or you get to sit in a better section on the train,
Or
the
you get to
transport,
leave the country,
all kind
or
of
you
shit,
have to
bro.
But
Like
this
stay.
you know what
is,
I'm
You know what I
saying.
but this
mean?
is,
Like,
you
But
said this is opt in though?
yeah,
well, at
right
this
now.
point it was.
Yeah.
Right.
At this
Okay.
point it was, and I'm
But
not gonna. I don't know, like yeah. I see a lot of stuff on the
I
internet that
follow.
I don't know that if this stuff that I see on the internet's true. So I'm not going to
No.
talk
No,
on
no,
that, but
no.
I'm just going to
I
talk
hear
on
that. But
the stuff
this
that
is
the
an
guy
idea
told
worth.
me.
I think this is an idea worth talking about. So whether it's actually happening
No, it is though.
isn't part of this discussion. This
Yeah.
discussion is about the idea because I think it's an important idea to talk
No,
about.
I followed
Yeah,
this young lady on TikTok, and she had a whole issue, right? And it was actually during the COVID time, right? And it was the same kind of story that he's talking about. She couldn't. She went back home to China to help take care of her mom and her grandparents and whatnot. And so she had to get a job and whatnot. But they got that whole social credit score thing, and it was not even that you opt in. It's your neighborhood or your, what do they call them? They call them districts or whatever,
Okay.
whatever your district is or
Your
whatever. And like
district
if your district,
has a certain quality level or
yes, if your
certain
district opted into it, then
level of
you were
excellence.
automatically into it. So her
Okay.
family lived in a poorer part of some Chinese district, and their district opted into it because the district gets money from the government for
Right.
doing it,
Of
right?
course. Of
So
course.
right, it's just like something shit in America. So
it's like
um
testing syphilis or some shit.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
absolutely,
You know
yeah.
what
So,
I'm
so
saying?
yeah, you're right. So it's fucked
Somewhere in
up,
that
but they
area
they
of some
they
fucked up
opted
shit.
into it, just like
Right.
them counties and those
Right.
counties and small
There's
cities in Tennessee opted into letting the government spray their local
right.
fucking
Right.
Right.
shits with shit. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's just
Right.
that
That's
type of
self
shit.
governance. That's basic self governance. But it's
Right.
self
So
governance at the
Hey,
community
so
level.
let me drop one more thing on you of some stuff that I actually know, right?
yeah.
So he also told me, he said, when I go to China, he said, I am not allowed from Coca-Cola, right? They won't allow me to take any belongings with me that are ran off of electricity. He said,
Yeah.
I can't take my own cell phone. I can't take my own laptop. No tablets, no iPad, no like smart watches, no smart nothings, nothing like that. He said, when I get there, I'm issued these a cell phone and a computer while I'm there to use, and I'm not allowed to access my actual email. Right? There's a whole nother digital profile for this man is set up when he goes over there. And while he's over there, he's on their opt in, because if you are coming to
And you're
China and
using,
doing
yep,
business, you automatically get opted
yep,
in
yep,
because they want to see how you
yep,
react and how you act and all this shit. And
yep.
so, like, I know that's true. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
don't,
yeah, for sure.
and, and so, but to me, like, if that's true, then why isn't some other things true? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
What do
mean,
you
if
mean
I,
what do
well,
you mean
just like
other?
all the things you see on the internet, you know what I mean? Like, because I see a whole lot of stuff on the internet about like the whole social credit scoring and all that stuff, and some of it seems a little too far to
So
me. But what I'm saying is if they give him a whole new digital profile and all of the things that I just told you that I know for a fact are true, then
yeah,
that
yeah,
there's a window for all this other shit to be true too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
for sure. Now you let's go back. Was it Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah. So thinking about this social credit score thing,
Yeah.
me, I think I'm kind of excited by the idea of it because the way that could see it is, and let me give you a little context.
Yeah.
So I have been unbanked for at least going on 4 years now. I do not have a bank account. I use Cash App only or Cash.
Right.
I don't even do Venmo or anything else. I only use Cash App.
Right.
And cash and I can keep money there, so that allows me access to use
Right.
a credit card. I also
Right.
have not had an Amazon account for at least 3 years, and I refuse to buy anything from Amazon. So
Right.
I have personally, individually opted. I pay my rent is paid in cash,
Right.
and I don't. There's not much record of me, except I do get EBT and I do get Medi-Cal, which I need because I haven't had a job for like a proper job for a while. I've been
Right.
working, but mostly doing cannabis cultivation and pet sitting. So, that's like, so that's part of the context for what I'm about to say is that I've already individually opted out of a lot of things that are really convenient. I watch people and how easy it is to just use your phone to pay for stuff.
Yeah.
And you always have your phone on you. It's like so convenient. But you know what I've learned by opting out and making my life a little bit more, well, frankly, a lot more difficult and getting more difficult by the day. There's some establishments you walk in the door, they tell you they don't take cash. I
Right.
couldn't pay cash for my DMV car registration. They
Right.
didn't take cash.
That's
I had to go
unconstitutional as
pay
well,
for
though.
a I
Do you
that's what I
do you
said.
think that do you think that's because of like a high crime situation? Like
I do think it's
they
a
don't
high
want to
crime,
keep cash.
not employee embezzlement, but high crime. If because the San Luis Obispo DMV
But
does
it's
take
still
cash,
unconstitutional because
but
it's
the Oakland
even the
one
government's
doesn't,
fault that we even
because they
have
kept having
cash.
people they kept having people like armed robberies at the DMV
Right.
because
So
people were
so what I was
embezzled
just going to
cash.
point out is not to be a conspiracy theorist, but it
Yeah,
seems like some of that crime in LA and Oakland and
yeah.
et cetera is being allowed. That way there's certain things can
Oh
be
yeah,
implemented.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe it, but I do see that there is a lot of evidence pointing in that direction, and I wouldn't put it past some of these
Yeah,
assholes.
we're good.
Right. And
Our
also
government is
just to
good
like
at being
regentrify.
arsonists. Yeah, we're good at being arsonists and firefighters because if
Yeah,
they
yeah,
start the problem and
right.
then they come with the solution. That's what it's always been the MO.
And except the Panthers, Black Panthers. My city is. I'm in Oakland, and I'm a proud Oakland resident, and
Hey.
So I think this social capital. I mean, if I looked at my credit score right now, I don't even know what I would find. Okay, because I also protest paying taxes. I do not pay my taxes. I
I
haven't made
understand
much
that.
money to pay taxes, but I have not filed my taxes for
Well, a
at
lot of
least
people
8 years now
dodge that.
because of war. And because I am a conscientious objector, and I don't think we should be spending money on war. So I already have opted out of a system that makes everybody else's life seem to be a lot easier and smoother than it is for me. And so if this was an opt-in system, a lot of people, because they that think of these things in a certain way, a lot of people would go, yeah, sure, I'll opt in. It makes my life easier. I have
Yeah,
less privacy, and
yeah.
the government knows everything I'm doing. And if I do something wrong, I'm going to get caught. But I bet you 80% of the people would opt in. And then the people who are causing the most trouble in this cultural space, all these cultural wars that we've got going on,
Hmm.
all of those people would not have anything to grab onto anymore. And because they would opt out of that system, which
Right.
then
Well, what they'll do is that
which reduces their friction, which increases their friction and reduces their visibility, so more people can kind of get on with their life and not have to
no,
worry about.
they'll just take more rights. They'll just keep doing what they're doing to try to make
They're gonna
cash
do what.
completely irrelevant. And
Well,
then once they feel like they've made cash completely irrelevant, it won't even matter because
right.
it'll almost be like you're living underground if you don't have access
That's
to
exact,
electronic cash.
exactly right. And that's what I'm saying. I can imagine how that might be,
It's Orwellian
because
for
that's
sure.
kind of, it is very Orwellian, but it's also the case that I believe in each of those districts, they can set their own levels of excellence
Facts.
that they want to
Yeah, well,
achieve.
look, check it. Like
And to
you
me,
could, if
that's
you were
that's
picking
like
up
a
litter,
really good
right?
way to
You,
rule.
yeah, well, you do pet sitting and stuff like that, and like if
Yeah.
like the litter, like people who went around pick. There was a dude who was basically a homeless dude, kind of completely poor. He lived in a shack and everything, but
Yeah.
his social credit score was so high because all he did was walk around, pick up trash, and be nice to people all day. This dude had a
Right.
great social credit score, but it
Right.
didn't really, at that time, it didn't really do nothing for him other than the fact that he could boast about having the best credit score in the village. You know what I mean? Or best social credit score in the village. But I think that there's got to be some kind of freedoms, though. You know what I mean? Because I like to have obviously the ability to kind of do what I want as long as I'm not impeding on everybody else's liberties and freedoms. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, I think that those.
there's
I
a
think if you
common knowledge. What I don't
right.
understand is about us humans is that for some reason we feel like we need an outside entity to provide us the moral compass that's already
Uh.
embedded in us naturally. And that shit is just weird. You know what I mean? Like I clean up
Mm,
trash out of my yard every day because people just ride down the street and toss shit out the
I know.
window. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just like, damn, like everybody
Hmm.
knows better. You know what I mean? But it's
Hmm.
just weird that because there is no strict repercussions to some shit like that. Like if they catch you littering in China, then they'll deduct $20 out your bank account. I bet
Yep.
you everybody in the world would stop throwing shit out the window if you took $20 out their bank
That's
account
why
for
they started
fucking littering.
charging for them damn bags in the gas station in L.A. Remember when we was in Bay last time we was in
Yes.
L.A. to perform? I went in the gas station, Maven,
Yeah.
and I was like, we were staying right there, but well, actually, Jason and them stayed in down the way a little ways,
We
and
stayed in
where was that
Inglewood.
at?
We was in
Yeah,
Inglewood.
Inglewood. But I was like right there by the airport. I stayed in fuck, I forgot the name of the
That
hotel, but
Hilton,
anyway,
ain't it?
I can't remember, man. It was something like that, probably. But so I went into the gas station and I got all these snacks because fuck, we walk around smoking weed everywhere. Shit, it was amazing. I'm like, oh my god, I'm moving out here. Shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so I go in the gas station, I get all these snacks, and the person was like, "Do you want a bag?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And they were like, "A big or a small?" And I was like, It don't matter. You know what I mean? And they were like, well, I mean, 10 or 15 cent. And I was like, huh? And they said, yeah, they were like a small bag's 10 cent, a big bag's 15 cent. And bro, I brought the bag home, man, because I nobody on the East Coast, and especially where I live at, would ever believe that. You know what I mean? But I live right by the ocean too. I live on the ocean, and
But
like
hey, guess
it's
what?
just, but it's not as populated either. You know what I
Right.
mean?
You know
But
what?
it's also
I've
not as a
done some shit like that
progressive.
though. Aldi's, you don't got an Aldi, grocery store. You ever heard of that store? You normally have to purchase your paper bags or
Yeah.
bring your own,
Yeah,
or
that's
bring
like
your own
Sam's
like
Club or
canvas bag.
Costco. You got to bring your
All,
own shit.
yeah, well, all stores in California, they're required to charge for bags.
Hmm.
You have an exemption if you use food stamps, if you use the EBT, because they don't want to charge people who use EBT for their bags for groceries.
Right.
But everybody else has to pay 10 cents, or I think it went up. Some stores are charging 20 cents now.
Yeah, and the bag was like it was actually like a nice plastic bag. It was like
Yeah,
thick and
quality
nice, and
fit.
I was like,
Yeah,
damn, man, like,
yeah.
hey, that was my little bag on the way back on the airport. I saved it on the way back.
That shit crazy.
But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how much influence China puts on California,
Yeah.
Tell me
or
more about
or
that.
well, just like okay, or maybe not influence, but like say for instance
How
this.
connected? How connected you mean, kind of?
Um, well, for one, like the railroad system was built by Chinese, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, and then there's legally first the FBI has stated and knows about so many different grow houses that are
yeah.
being done by
Over a
Chinese,
hundred so far.
supposedly by
FBI.
Chinese communist uh,
Yup.
parties, or not parties, but party owned
Mhm.
by the Chinese that are, and it's like
Oh,
all through
literally,
California.
Maven. We did a
Oh,
report on it. There was over
a huge amount of
120
the
different
property.
houses.
Yeah, they own like half of San Francisco housing. They own Chinese.
Yeah, and San Francisco was a big area,
Yeah, it's
um,
really bad in San Francisco.
but
There's
all the way up to like Humboldt County, all
yeah,
the way down to like
yep,
fucking like San Diego or whatever it was.
yeah,
I forgot exactly, but
yeah.
like that whole chunk of, well, that's a huge chunk of California. There's all these
It was like a hundred
grows
and something,
that are
120 something.
yeah that are like manned by or ran by Chinese people that aren't even fucking citizens.
Yep. I
I'm just like,
and
what is going on? Like
So
what?
they busted a big
Yeah,
warehouse here in Oakland recently, kind of maybe 2 years ago, a year ago, something like that.
uh,
They arrested some people and they took in a hell of a lot of plants.
I mean, it's just it's weird to. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's like a pharmaceutical company in China that wants people to grow marijuana in California because of the soil. I don't know. I don't
I bet
understand
But
there were
it's that
why
also
same
the
thing
FBI
about
would
the
be
it's the same thing about the Coke. They're growing it
exactly.
here to sell it here.
it was all
Uh,
indoor operations. That's what was crazy about it. Like they haven't busted
Well, that
all of
used
them.
to be you used to be able to do it because of the price of pot, but the price of pot bottomed out a couple
Yeah,
years
but
ago.
it's crazy to be like, all right, we know the FBI is currently investigating like 125 houses in California from this
Yep.
city to this city that are manned by illegal Chinese people and they're growing, pounds of cannabis, like hundreds and hundreds of pounds. You know what I mean? Like they busted six
Yeah.
houses, but there was still another 125 that they were
Right.
looking into. Like
Right.
that shit is crazy. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of houses. That's a lot of weed
yeah.
too. And like
That's a
Nova
lot of
said,
weed.
yeah, it is
Yeah,
a lot
that's
of
the
weed.
other thing. It's a lot of weed. There's been a glut of weed in this state because we can't, it's illegal to ship it out of state
Yeah.
because of the federal laws.
Yeah.
So there's a huge glut, and the price went from $10,000 a pound down to like $200 a pound. And you had to
Good
pay
God.
$167 on every pound. $167, not a percentage, $167 of every pound. So if you were selling it for $200 a pound, you were getting like what, $33 for a pound?
Right.
That's nuts.
You
Wow.
can't, that's not sustainable.
Hell
Not at
no.
all.
What the fuck?
That happens in every state where it's become legal. That's what happens. That's the cycle. There's the first 2 years when it's legal. Once it gets legal, they're still working on getting the regulations in place, and until the regulations actually get into place, which takes almost 2 years, there's a lot of money and there's a lot of good things happening for people who are growing pot. And then the third year, that's it, and everything's going to bottom
That's
out. So
because
you got
everybody
to get in
stops
and get out.
fighting after they
Yeah,
get. And
because
that's
then
the thing that
everybody's growing. It takes a
Michigan
while.
just went through it. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
well, yeah, but at the same time, everybody stops fighting because what happens is they fought so hard to get it legalized.
right,
It finally gets legalized, and everybody thinks they won. But then at the end, you know what I mean? Then they gotta keep fighting. That's what Michigan
right.
just had to do because
Yeah,
in Michigan they were fucking it all up. You know, but the motherfuckers went and they fought hard for it,
yeah.
and now they just can't have it downtown Detroit type shit. But in Ohio, where I'm at, it's coming next year for well, it's here, but it's here now. It's legal now. But it's coming next year where people like me can apply to have a adult recreational cannabis shop, and
Ah, so
it's
this
gonna
is
get
the
crazy.
yeah. Yeah, so this is the time to be a grower in Ohio for
Yeah,
the
shit.
next
We tried to buy.
until the regulations settle in. I mean, living in Oakland. You talk about getting psilocybin at the gas station. Every vape store that I go into is selling mushrooms now. They're selling
Right.
the chocolates. They're selling and I went into one the other day that was selling cannabis too. Now that's dangerous because the city gets a tax on that. So the city does follow up on that shit because it's money for the city if you're illegally selling cannabis, right?
Gotcha.
But you can get anything in this city just in a regular store. So
That's crazy.
My bad,
it's
y'all. I'm chomping down on some food. I got the money.
No, you're cool.
you got the
Hey,
munchies, yeah.
I was
Nothing
just
wrong
gonna
with
say,
that.
since we were talking about it,
Hey, what the fuck Wednesday? Thank y'all for joining us. We were talking about Can Night Bus, and here is Can Night Bus by SOCOB. Roll up, quick room reset.
Yeah, I stepped out of the 12th house, hopped up in that red alert. I'm dipping to the milk for the cookie. When you invest in self, there's no need to work. Pounds on pounds of the sticky herb. Off the earth, I can feed the herd. Turn a flower into power, now a phoenix burn. Leave life where my ass at. Dark matter in my backpack, yeah. Crystallize 3 eyes every time I light fire to the earth. Calling the kush guys. Get blessed by a bush on fire. Help a sheep seek warmth in this cold empire. She drop bands when she bloom in the dark room. Hip house coming real soon. Aroma made me float like a cartoon. Mary got him hooked like a harpoon. And that's real. Watch me farm the land for my meals. So reap these bands by sowing this kill. And grow this love to change how you feel. I'll show you the secrets and point to the enemy. They got the poison and I got the remedy. No stopping this energy, move like a centipede. Why die? I'm too high off the memory. Expanding all of my chakras. When I fire up on this ganja plant, no need for scripts or a doctor. My homeboys are spirit tech. Watch you power up on that fire aqua. Blue cook all of my eye drops. That straight bliss, that program aqua. Nigga, drink till my eye pop.
I got marijuana, pounds of that real OG. See, we ain't nothing but some fugitives riding around like fuck the police. Making time stop through your 5x9s. I got 9 guys with their eyes out. Fire all in my spine, them boys get burnt trying to get up in my house. I got marijuana, pounds of that real OG. See, we ain't nothing but some fugitives riding around like fuck the police. Making time stop through your 5x9s. I got 9 guys with their eyes out. Fire all in my spine, them boys get burnt trying to get up in my house. I got marijuana, pounds of that real OG. Yeah, I've been off on that psilocin, now I'm about to turn up in OT. See, we ain't nothing but some fugitives riding around like fuck the police. Making time stop through your 5x9s. I got 9 guys with their eyes out. Fire all in my spine, them boys get burnt trying to get up in my house. Shit, grab the pack and let's grind out. Mother Earth, she like right on time. I got H2O for that pie. that 302 for my fight. So when it rainstorm, I get to brainstorm and I'm back inside of that eye. You can see just how I resonate, nigga. I'm shining off for your blinds. Nigga, light bender, I rip the veil. My angle is forming an L. Inertia will gather, bring physical form. So what I imagine is born right through the door. Infinite weaponry soon as they stepped in me. I know that they tested me, came down with their eyes out. I told you that water would burn. I gather my forces in orbit and pour out a portion of me to return. Then gather it back up inside of myself. I'm still on top of that crown. I can still get up when I'm down. Now watch how I gather the earth, bitch. I got marijuana, pounds of that real OG. See, we ain't nothing but some.
Woo!
Y'all ever heard of the stoned ape theory?
My answer to this riddle, where did human consciousness come from? It begins like this.
Yeah. Watching the stars when I blaze, fly through the stargazing places and creatures so alien I can't explain it. Came down from the trees and we conquered the plains. Psilocybin evolving our brains, transcending our basic understanding of communication. In the outer space I finally found my place. I know they call me crazy, calling it a phase. I feel the growing pace, I go in places. I have awakened the knowledge of spitting forbidden, so ancient. I do not cater to haters and fakes. And logos, the flow that I'm spitting is sacred. I'm the creator. They can't keep up with my pace. The shit that I'm making awaken the human race. Spit in these range, trippy all day, every day. I'm tated. If you're lacking the patience to achieve elevation through meditation, use medication, exit the matrix, download information. I'm seeing traces, visual latency. I stay connected interdimensionally, logos like Hades, and keep Persephone. 10,000 years from now, they will still mention me.
This mushroom was the triggering factor that moved us from being an advanced hominid, an advanced animal, to being in fact a conscious, self-reflecting, caring, thinking, dreaming, striving human being.
Man, look. What if our consciousness came from a mushroom that was in some dinosaur shit or something like that, and a ape just stumbled upon it and ate it and got tripped out and realized that they were smarter than they were. What the fuck, bro? That's a stone ape.
Remember, I was just an ape, smartest creature in the jungle scape. Running, jumping, never was awake. As our numbers grew, we grew underweight. We don't hunt or prey, we just hungry monkeys that got really lucky on one summer day. When I lifted up a piece of cow dung, that's when I discovered where the fungus lay. Then I munched away, kept on eating cause I love the taste. All of a sudden I was up in space. Came down as another race with a colored face. From a hominid to a hominoid to an ayahuasca where the shamans live. Architecture of the monoliths. Writing books, building colleges, technological accomplishments, all the painting that the artist did, all the knowledge of the Kabbalists, all the data in the quantum chips, all the Catholic and Islamic scripts, all the monsters in the horror flicks, all the music logo Bada did, psilocybin sparked all of this.
He said all the Catholic and the Islamic scripts.
We became human beings. Theater, poetry, magic, art, altruism, dance, symbolic and cognitive.
What'd you say, Jason? You said they ain't finna show me how to rap. Not today, bitch! Not today!
Stone saying, great ape, smoking great babe, up in outer space with the gods. Remove the facade. Creating is all of the odds. I'm looking at life through the eyes of the source. My origin born in powers aligned with the force, shaping reality ever so magically. Damages all in my faculty, whipping a masterpiece. Hope you got time to let me in your mind. Psilocybin and dry. Connect through Akashic, drop love on the dime. What you feel is divine. Open the portal, release the immortal, drop blessings right out of the wormhole. We are so infinite, penmanship sharper than you had envisioned it. Cutting through layers of censorship. This is that raw, death is not imminent. So when it comes time to finish it, this will be nothing at all. Jumping through seats as they wait for our fall. Prisons on prisms, they trapping our thought. Oh, how our feelings are bought. Oh, how the hatred is caught. Oh, now the shoes in my sauce. Dripping his magical presence, more than a reference. We are reflection, reflecting this valuable lesson. Leaving them nothing to question. Only the essence of godly intentions that bring us together through something we missing. Combining our powers to be something different. Telling these artists, but nobody's getting. Knowledge is deep, but none is forbidden.
Knowledge is deep,
That's just
but none is forbidden.
that's also a shot at forbidden knowledge,
Fuck you,
aka Billy Carson,
Fuck
that
you, bitch ass nigga.
owes us money and
Oh,
ownerships
realign
and
your
all.
motherfucking chakras right now with your bitch ass Billy. You
Oh
fucking with the right
god,
one, hoe ass nigga.
that guy right there,
Sorry,
boy.
man. That's just my ignorant side in me
No.
sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I just gotta let them know we don't play no games. I don't give a fuck. But
It's
yeah,
in
though,
it's
hey,
in all of
that's
us,
a
but
crazy. It's crazy that you brought that up because I had a question or a topic. I wanted to know how God is playing a part in all of these politics because for some reason, right, you got these dude who's a Republican and a hardcore Christian, and God has saved his life the other day, last week. I'm trying to figure out how it all plays because doesn't the other guy too, or the other girl now, don't they also pray to the same God? But then what about the Jewish people who were supporting Donald Trump too? Well, how does their gods, how does this
how
all
do they work
play?
together
They
when and
they've
it
been
specifically
yes,
says that they ain't
they're
cool?
yeah, bro. And I see how
Hey,
people
hey, check
are
this out.
taking this, man. They made it so
How does the
political, right?
how does the Quran line up with the King James version of the Bible
Bruh.
more? But people are taught that Islam and Muslims and Christianity and Christians no,
Well,
but
like the
Judeo
Quran is just like the
Christian, yeah,
first. The Quran is like the first like 7 or 9 books of the Bible of the. You know
right.
what I'm saying? Like that's what's so crazy. People think, man, I thought like a lot of shit was just like completely different.
Well, it's very
Completely
conservative.
different.
You can say that too. Like the
Yeah.
Quran and the Bible.
Well, but you
Not
see
really
it though,
the.
right? You seen it. You seen it on the signs. God bless Trump. God
Yeah, yeah,
bless.
yeah,
God,
yeah.
the Jews are for Trump. The Jews are for Biden. Like you seen all of it, right? And I'm just trying to understand how God at all gives a fuck about any of y'all niggas trying to be president. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm
Because
drawing a.
The Bible says don't worship false gods, right? And
Right.
those are actually that would be considered a false god because you're putting your
Right, but
hope and
like
your
what they're
prayers
doing
into
some
that.
kind of witchcraft though, obviously, right? Because
Hmm.
look at how the shit is set up. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way that this isn't some kind of spiritual, ritualistic
It's
type
a
of
grape ape
thing.
smoking grape ape. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
you know what I'm
Grape
saying?
ape smoking
Like, think
grape
of
ape.
that's yeah, bro. Like it's like when God said, "Let us go down and make man in our image," but nobody questions who the fuck is us. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
just
What
like on
image?
the
Because I
lines of
mean, I'm
that.
just
Like,
saying, like Asians and motherfucking English people
but
look
like what
completely different.
I was trying to figure out because I'm like, okay, how are they gonna spin this with God? Because they've been spinning this shit with God for so fucking long. And then now we got, supposedly Iran was behind, or Iran had plans to try to assassinate Trump. They've been using that as fuel. And then the Democrats and so-and-so dropped out and Biden jumped in. And at the end of every statement, it's God bless America. God bless. Thank God gave us the opportunity. God, 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 God. Right.
Right.
And then their running mates
And from both
are
sides,
from
like you said,
are from from both
the
sides.
Democrat and the Republican both say God
Yeah.
bless America, da da da. But they totally see different. They don't see eye
But
to eye on
they're
anything.
all paid by APAC, which is an Israeli operation, which means that that's a whole nother religion. That's
Right.
Judaism, right?
Yeah.
Technically, wouldn't it be that? That's what. So it's like, how does that even align? Like, and I'm just like, man, they're playing it real crazy because they were like, oh yeah, God saved Trump, but God let a whole, like I said, God let a whole firefighter die, but He saved Trump. You know what I mean? Like the shit, a lot of shit just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. It's like, if this God allows all of this to fucking happen, then what kind of God is motherfuckers really serving? The,
Maven, you said who is this? Oh, you. Never mind. You told her. My bad.
oh
Bro,
yeah,
I don't
I
even
forgot.
fucking know how to even answer that question. I'm.
Well, I just see it. I've been seeing it a
It's
lot,
just
right?
so fucking berserk out here with this shit, man. It's
It's
like,
so
look,
So
Twilight
you're
okay,
Zone,
think
just
bro.
about it.
seeing
I
you're just seeing hypocrisy, which is something that is
Yeah.
kind of in everybody's nature. And when you see a hypocrisy, you can know that what you're looking at is somebody who's trying to play the game the right way, as the way they understand it. You know.
Right.
yeah,
Right.
like I see the okay. So this shit right here, it really just kind of like I was like, oh, when I heard this, right? So I see, and I'm not saying I'm always saying I'm not for either or. I'm really not. You know what I mean? So a lot of times people might think I'm for Trump, but now I'm about to say some shit that's about to make people think like, oh fuck, he's a fucking libtard. He's a fucking left wing son of a bitch. You know, it's like whatever. But I just keep it real. So I saw and heard Donald Trump say, we don't need a socialist president in this country. And he said, we definitely don't need a socialist in this country. And we definitely don't need it to be a socialist president in this country. He said, and for sure, we don't need a socialist woman president. I mean, what the fuck? What's the difference in a motherfucking socialist woman and a man, bro? Like that's divisive as fuck.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna win saying
Nah, bro.
women don't need to be president, bro. And then his
Right.
vice president says this. His running mate says women that don't have kids don't have any stake in America. Like, what the fuck does that even mean, bro? You're not gonna win saying shit like that. Like, that's just pathetic right there. Like, for real?
What
I
about
mean,
men
like,
who
come
don't
on.
have any kids?
Right.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, what the fuck is this motherfucker even talking about, bro? Take your bitch ass back to wherever the fuck you came from. Man, you don't
He came
even,
from Yale. He came from
He came from
Silicon
APAC.
Valley.
He came from
yeah, he came
APAC.
from A, because look what his actual last name is. It ain't Vance. This motherfucker changed his last
He came
name.
from APAC. He's a plant from APAC, and then Kamala will also be placed with a plant from APAC because this is where the country is being run by Israel. Like that's just the fucking truth. Like no matter how much Americans don't want to swallow this fucking pill, but
Right?
every last one. But listen, like we've gone over shit our government spent money on and everything, yo. Like this shit is just super weird. Okay, like these people will spend $11 million. They give $11 million to Israel to do transgender studies, but motherfuckers is fucking just jumping across our fucking border like a fucking jump rope, like it's hopscotch, like it ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just wild how it's just none of it makes any fucking sense besides the fact
No.
that there's a foreign entity in charge of the fucking government. That's the only thing that makes fucking sense
Right,
because
because
nothing benefits the American people. Everything
right,
benefits everybody else. This motherfucker Kamala said, they asked her about reparations. She said, "Well, I couldn't just do for just the black people. I got to do for everybody." Right? That's what Kamala says. But then she turns around and gave Israel $78 million to help reinforce their Iron Dome. Like
Right.
that's only helping Israelis. Like what the fuck? You're supposed to be a quote unquote black woman, right? And then that's the fucking shit they try to spin on us. But in all reality, they don't give a fuck about nothing that they do benefits the American people. It's always benefited other
Right. Well,
countries.
and think about this too. Like, so if you want to just say, like, okay, no bias in it, what's the data? The data says that APAC, 80 something percent of the people that they donate to win they're in office. There's hardly any competition, bro. So then the other percentage that they allot that doesn't win, but they still donate to, it still circles back around the way that they do that shit. So in all reality, it comes out to like a 98%
Yes. Well, that's because
that when they put money behind somebody,
yep.
98% of the fucking time they get
But guess
elected.
what? But guess what though? What's so crazy about that is they normally put money behind both candidates. It's the one that they put the most money behind that normally
Right.
wins.
And I
it's
know
so crazy
that
because if you look at both of them received the APAC check, and then if they worked in the Senate or the House of Representatives, that
they get
98%
two.
of our 98% of our fucking House of Representatives and Senate people get a check from APAC.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And
Like
then and so it's like, well, Israel's a lot smaller than United States. I don't believe that. That's fine. I get that part of it. But also the United States has morphed into like an actual corporation. So
yep.
the Federal Reserve is actually not ran by the Treasury.
Right.
The Federal Reserve is its own entity,
Yep.
which is actually ran by the people that are donating to APAC.
Facts. The people who started
The
APAC,
people that started APAC,
yes,
the
the people
motherfuckers
who
that thought
started
of
APAC.
the word, the acronym APAC. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
so
it
when you
was the
look at,
American and Jewish Alliance of some shit. It was something else prior to being APAC. But yeah,
yeah,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no,
But you're right. When you
I'm
look at it,
glad
you
you brought
follow
that up.
the money goes back to that. And then guess what? When I was talking about their God and what their God plays in this, think about this shit, y'all. The motherfuckers who started APAC, the motherfuckers who own the Federal Reserve, the bankers who we've talked about many times over on our fucking show, these are the motherfuckers who are running that shit. And then guess who their God is? They've
And
traced
this
their
is
lineage
not
back to
Jewish,
Nimrod,
and this is not quote unquote what you would
Judaic,
think of
or
Jewish people.
no.
Now,
This
this is
is
a whole
Zionism.
different, yeah, it's a
This
whole
is
different thing. So,
Zionism, which was Frankism, which was something else or something else ism before
right.
it was, you know what I'm saying, before it was became what the fuck
So
it is
I
today,
got
which
it.
is Zionism.
So I
Or
got it.
Zionist capitalist type Christian Zionist, Judaic Zionist capitalist, or Zionist
Mm-hmm.
capitalist type shit. It's weird. Go ahead. I'm sorry,
So
Maven.
like you heard the like part of the story that's supposed to be like uh oh, I'm stoned. I just lost my train of thought.
I love it. It happens to
uh,
someone every show.
well, I feel special that it
Yeah. It happened
happened
to
to
me
me.
yesterday, so you're the one who got it today.
I think it's
Yeah.
just the Jewish thing is I know it's about the Christian Zionists. So you heard the theory like about the story, part of the story where it's like um, that it's supposed to bring on the second coming or
Yeah,
something if
yeah.
something
100%.
happens and war happens. So like you hear how I'm describing it, you recognize it, but I couldn't possibly give you much more detail than I just did because it we're talking about nuclear powers getting pissy at each other right
Yeah,
now. So I mean,
Right.
it feels like Armageddon's gonna come
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
to
like,
me.
so
But
if you
I'm
went
just,
by
could you
the,
like elaborate a little bit? Like,
well,
do
okay,
you
so
guys
like,
know and
if
think?
you,
Yeah.
if you were referring to like the Jewish belief, right, out of the Talmud, then you would, or however you want to pronounce that, I might pronounce it a different way, but So basically, like the Antichrist for Christians is the Jewish Christ or Savior. So when the Jewish Savior comes, that's the Christian's Antichrist. But somehow, some way, these motherfuckers like each other. It was ridiculous to me. And also, I'm not saying all Jewish people, but I'm saying that there's literature that is promoted by Zionism. Through Zionism, this is promoted that everyone that's not a certain blood type or DNA type, I should say. Well, no, blood type, right? Blood
Yeah.
type of a Jewish descent is actually everybody else or a slave for that race or that
Yeah.
blood type, and they
Well,
refer
let
to
me.
as
I can help
goyim.
you understand it. So you know the 12. All right. So let's just do this.
I was about to
You
say,
know the
so then that 13th tribe that you're about to talk
yeah
about is
yeah. You know the
and so
12
that's the
tribe.
DNA.
Yeah, that's the DNA. So the Joseph had a concubine outside of his wife. The 12 tribes of Judah. So you got the 12 tribes, right? There was really 13. The 13th child was the first and the eldest born. His name was Dan. They trace Dan back to, Joseph or what was it, Abraham, excuse me. They trace Dan back to Abraham, and then they trace Abraham back to Nimrod. Nimrod is how we even get the Christian celebration and where Saturnalia and all of that other stuff came from. So these people are they're a group of individuals who've hid behind the Judaic religion, the Christian Judaic religion, for a long time. They've been
And
kicked out of 1,001 kingdoms for usury, which is, obviously loaning money for interest. That's what usury is. They've been kicked out of 1,001 kingdoms since their recorded existence. Nobody knows how far they go back, but
right,
if you ask their leaders, they say they go back as far as Nimrod. So basically, and that's where you get the Christmas story. That's the origin of Christmas, the origin of all of these, other shits that they have us celebrate. So that's why I
the
know it's
Christmas
kind of
tree,
confusing, right? They're not exactly. They're not
the
Orthodox
balls, the
Jews.
balls you hang on the Christmas tree,
Yeah,
and the
those
Christmas
are
tree
yeah,
itself, you're worshiping Nimrod. Now, I'm not saying,
yes.
I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying,
Well,
like,
they
that's what it
yeah,
actually is.
which
It's
became
not
also like the celebration because you know how the Horus the story of Horus and shit with and Isis and Osiris with the her building the obelisk and making it his penis and shit like that
right.
that comes from Nimrod in that story because that's a similar story to that and then
Ah,
that story came off of that story, you know what I mean, and then Saturnalia came off of those stories for up north, you know what I mean,
And
and
then the Khazar,
Krampus, yeah, and all of that. Yeah, that's also Russia. Krampus, the Khazarians. Krampus
right?
was Christmas for the Russians. You know what I mean?
And the
And
Khazarians are actually the ones that decided to say Judean Christian
Christian, yeah. So yeah, like I
because it
said,
was either Muslim or Christian because it was in the middle where they lived
so
at
that's
or
what
where they had
to help
inhabited
you
at.
out with that, Maven. Where you would the origin would be the ancient Khazaria. They say it's a myth or whatever like that. But look up the ancient Khazarians, the type of people they were, the type of religions they had, the type of shit that they started. And like he's saying, it come down to
no,
being
no,
they
no. I
went
was just
from yeah.
there's like four ancient population. I just read a really interesting article. Go ahead. I need to learn more about this, please.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the ancient Khazarians were a group of individuals that were like they were like lawmakers and politicians and bankers and traders and vendors, and these were the type of people that they were, and they were stuck between the Christians and the Jews, and the Muslims. So
Muslims, yeah.
their nation was like in between, two warring nations, the Christians and the Muslims, and so to be able to save their lives and save their necks, you know what I mean? They basically created this Judaic Christian type thing where they they were basically saying they were Jews who converted to Christian type shit. You know what I mean? So that they would be
But
okay
see,
with the
they weren't considered Jews then.
right.
But
No, they weren't.
because
They were
like
really
history's
considered
really lied to us because
yeah,
Jews comes from Judea,
right.
like and Jude, and then it became Jews. And so all that morphed during World War II all the way through World War One to World War II. But the Khazarians are way before World War One. This is before the USSR. This is before Soviet Union ever decided to fall. This is when the Slavs became slaves.
Yeah. Yeah, this is swords. This is swords and shields era still. Yeah, I'm with you. This ain't no. Yeah, this ain't
Yeah.
no.
So
Ancient Khazaria. These people go back. Like I said, they've been kicked out of 1,001 kingdoms for a reason. You hear them if you just listen to them speak. Listen to one of those Jew Zionists speak, and you know they're a Zionist because they don't have the curls and shit. They don't. They're
right.
not Orthodox Jews, and that's why I'm not saying. You kind of got to make a difference because they've hidden behind so many different religions. You know what I mean? That you don't know which one is which, but you know damn.
And also the actual,
if you talk about the wrong one, right?
Right, the actual people that would come from the area that the biblical Jews, Israelites, let's say that the Israelites, where they come from, right? They that area is actually where Israel is now.
Right.
And so these fake quote unquote Zionist quote unquote Jews were able to get enough money and power to be able to create and install the state of Israel.
Think about being your people are a group
and
of
that was the Bauernstein
nomadic people, right? You're basically a nomadic people who are responsible for basically the financial structure of the entire world, though. You know what I mean?
For a long time.
For a long time, bro. Like
not just like modern day. You know what I'm saying? Like no.
Go before ancient Khazaria, right? So before ancient Khazaria, so we're going to the biblical times. In the biblical times, they were the same type of motherfuckers. Were they?
Look, go down the tree of ites, and you'll see there's different types. Like I said, that's why I brought up Israelites. And if you want to get into the Bible, you can read, and you'll be like, holy shit,
Canaanites and
exactly. They kept getting kicked the fuck out. When you read it makes you feel sorry for it. But then when you do some actual digging down fucking research on it, you're like, wait a minute.
You see, there's a reason.
Damn, these motherfuckers was doing some fuck shit. That's why they were getting kicked and banished and kicked out and shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And still doing it.
And nobody says that. You know.
That's why now you're an anti-Semite, because that's the last thing that they were known as.
Yeah, but
before they were called Jews.
And that's the thing that they've used to take over the world currently. I mean, just saying, think about all the people in the World Economic Forum. There are all the Zionists. Like the World Economic Forum is literally made up of all of the Zionists that nobody wanted in their countries. But these people control the entire banks. That's why Iran is next. That's why Trump and them and Biden, or excuse me, Harris and them now are like, oh yeah, we're going after Iran no matter what you think about it, because of the fact that Iran is the last place that doesn't have a central banking system. So that needs a Federal Reserve. They don't have a federal banking system. They don't have Iran is not under these.
Look,
these
even China's monetary system was set up by these same people. Right at World War II, there was like 30,000 banking type business owner Jews that fled France and went to fucking China. Another gigantic amount went to Canada. Another gigantic amount went to like UK. A big amount came to the United States.
Argentina.
That's why New York City is right. Argentina, all over the place. But like people think China is exempt from this. No, they're not. Look, everybody that's got a central bank is involved in this shit, and they're slaves to it. The Federal Reserve is our slave owner of the United States of America. I know that's weird, and it's a hard thing to swallow, but hey, it just is what it is. I lived on Jekyll Island where the Federal Reserve was created. I've went all through these motherfuckers' houses, the real shit down here, man. It's some crazy shit now.
It is. The story
some
is
real crazy shit.
Super deep. It's almost like
the Bank of England was started by Rothschild, aka his name before that was Bauernstein. And so he changed his name from that because that name in the ancient was known as the motherfuckers that fuck you over. So he got out of that name, changed it to this, and then created Bank of England, and the Bank of England funded the goddamn World War II.
Both sides, the whole
They've
war.
been
Not
conquering like
Well,
a mother.
there's gonna be some changes coming though, right? With BRICS and everything, because there's a new.
Well, we
let me
did
tell
a
you
deep
this.
dive on that, and
Hold
we
on,
did a deep dive on that. And look, the
let me
thing about it
Tell me.
is
let me
Tell
tell
me,
her. Let me
what's the
tell her.
thing
Let me
about it?
tell her. The thing about it is the BRICS can't do nothing about the dollar because the BRICS, what backs the BRICS currency is 20 million US dollars.
no 100 for right now when
100 million.
when we
100
did the
million.
thing,
Sorry.
it was 100
Yeah,
billion.
yeah,
$100 billion
yeah,
is what the BRICS
yeah.
started
100 million.
with,
Sorry.
right? And then if you
Yeah,
look at the BRICS bank that's located in China, the head of
yeah,
it, the president, is a woman from Brazil who fucked over
yeah.
everybody in Brazil. Like
Yeah, and she
literally
can't even
fucked
go
up.
back to Brazil.
And this is
The
part of the
president of the
whole
BRICS,
banking.
yeah,
So exactly like
yeah,
the
but
banks used to be here. I mean, this
yeah,
is like
yeah,
expected, right?
BRICS was I was like, we were all aboard it. See, we were excited too. We were like, oh shit, something's gonna happen to the dollar. Like, oh shit, we like, because you obviously, if you know about money, you know how you can make money
Right.
off of that. So we know how we can make money off of that happening. So we like, oh shit, it might happen. Then we dig into it, and you come to find out that their bank has 100 billion US dollars. So that's why, like, you have US dollars backing your digital currencies.
And
You know what
this
I'm
is the
saying? Like
thing with that. Look, okay,
that
so
you're
look,
not going to hurt the
everybody,
dollar. You're going to help the dollar. Matter of fact, if the BRICS gets up and running, because that'll be the fuel. You know what I mean?
and think about this. What happens is all of those countries that join the BRICS, they're actually going to be owned by China. China's going to own all them, and the United States is China's big brother or older brother, and that motherfucker grew up big as hell. United States started China, period. They saved them from Japan, and they started their economy, and now they're making a play on the rest of the motherfucking world that's not with central banking and grabbing them through China. Like China's like that motherfucker that's
So
like,
you're
hey,
so
I'll go
like
be, I
Belt
will.
and Road.
China's the
You're
goon.
so
China's
like
like, look, I'm gonna go out here and strong arm the fuck out all these motherfuckers like the mob did or whatever. And they're gonna get control of all those countries. They're gonna own their land, etc. And then they'll mine it and they'll do all that shit. And all those places will be in debt to motherfucking China, just like everybody is to Israel. But it's the same play.
Yeah. Yep.
But like, isn't China doing like infrastructure projects and stuff so the countries are actually getting something out of it?
Well, I mean,
Some of
yeah, but
them,
like,
Russia's doing
but
deals
that,
with
like,
people to
that's,
help their military. Like Russia has deals with certain African countries to help their military that's under
I mean,
that
but that's
bullshit.
part of it. That's part of
Yeah.
the deal. Like, the part of the deal is like over in Africa was like, look, China's going to come and they're going to mine all this shit. But what they got to do is they got to build some factories and some ports and all that. Now, China will continue to use all that, just like the Silk Road.
Right.
Like
Right.
they took over the Dutch railroad system in South
Right.
Africa, and to get all the imports into Europe,
Or
China just drives a fucking train from China into goddamn Europe.
right. Like
Takes
how
2
Russia
weeks.
just took over the Coca-Cola
Yeah.
facility.
Absolutely.
Right. So it's just a big ass play to make people think that this organization and these groups of countries are going to go against the big bad West. But in all reality, it's just a part of that whole
Yeah, they're
system.
all that crooked. Like we think that, oh, this country, they're not, they're probably like it's crazy like how deep the corruption goes. It's never like, oh, there's actually somebody who's always had our interests at heart. I
And
don't
and
think anyone like that has ever existed in
and let
our
me
lifetime
so
in
think about
politics.
this too. America did the same. Britain did the same thing. Then America did it, and now China's doing it. Soviet Union almost did it, but the Khazarians didn't want that shit to happen. So they made it not happen. But America did it. China's about to do it. When China owns the land on these areas that they're going to, right? They're going to start putting military bases in them motherfuckers. and then, and I don't know
Well,
how long this will take.
Can you imagine China building a military base in the U.S.?
No, not in U.S. I'm talking about like
But we
in
have military bases in how many other countries?
Right.
oh, like
We have
120.
We have like over 700 military bases on other countries' land.
Oh yeah, well we're in like 80 different countries,
Right.
military bases. We have fucking thousands, and it's
Yeah.
just unbelievable. But the next
But like I'm
person
saying,
in line
can
is
you
China.
imagine even Mexico having a military
Well, they
base?
have to do this, right? So if
Oh
there's going to
yeah,
be, if the whole point, right, like we talked about even
we got
earlier in
2
the
minutes
show,
left, and we're gonna run out
if
of
the whole
time.
point is a one world order, it makes sense that they're going to do this because they need the manpower. And who has the manpower? China.
Right,
So
and
it's
also
never
India
that
is
China.
involved.
Right. So it's not that China is hating the United States and the United States is hating China. Like we said, all the way back to let that. It's so crazy how we go full circle sometimes. But just to prove that they're in it together, because once there's a one world government type shit set up, then all the motherfuckers will be in position to be able to run us in like some cattle in a farm. Ain't that crazy? Shit. So it's all a play, like Noble said, and it's What the Fuck Wednesday. So thank y'all for joining us here on the Think High Crew. We won't be here tomorrow, but Fire Music Friday will be a day after that. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, hey, appreciate it, Maven.
Oh, thank you for having me on the panel today. I had a
Yeah,
great time. I
for
learned
Thanks,
some
sure.
Maven.
stuff.
Yeah, hey, we'll be back Friday. Just you can go to thinkhighcrew.com and you can donate $1 million, and we'll put that in our bank
I did
accounts.
join your
Thank you.
fan club.
All right,
Thank you
cool.
very much, man.
But yeah, anybody that wants to donate $1 million, lines are open. We'll accept it.